Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel and welcome to Week in Review. Doing this one on the road here at a homeschool convention in Florida. Also you might have noticed that we had a hard drive crash last week and lost Week in Review. So this week is a double-sized one. We'll be talking about this week and last week and the videos we reviewed. Short snippets. If you want to see the full review, then just click the links in the description. So let's get started, because there's a lot to cover.
Hey everybody, Zhi Garcia here. So over the past 2 weeks, we put out a new board game blender. Go check that out. And I did a few videos from CMON Expo talking about upcoming releases and just talking to a few folks I met there. And then I have also got here 7 reviews, so let's see how quickly I can get through these. Did a review of a 2-player game called Tilting at Windmills. Has a Don Quixote theme, and in it you are playing cards to move towards you. The other character also moving towards you. You try to be the one to land the final blow. It kind of feels like a big game of chicken with a limited hand size. It's okay. It really kind of outstays its welcome. There's not a whole lot to it. Too many other 2-player card games at the end of the day. I did a review of a game called Carta Impera Victoria, and this one is a very simple game where what you are doing in it, or how much mental sort of involvement it takes, is very simple, but there's a lot of little fiddly manipulation rules. A lot of little iconography. It's a game that didn't really work for me. If I want to play something that light, then I want to be able to teach something that light, and this one sort of works against me in that aspect. I did a review of another 2-player card game, well, this is a board game, called Prowler's Passage. In it, you are supposed to be these thieves, building underground caverns and stealing from this town. That's a cool theme, but the game plays nothing like that. It's a Euro game. It's basically a complete information, a perfect information abstract game with very obscured, kind of obtuse scoring. I did not get what I expected from it, and what I did get was interesting, but when you cannot tell what scores well and what won't, then you just sort of do things and see what happens. That's how I felt about that. Reviewed Outpost Amazon. This is a co-op card game, a follow-up to Outpost Siberia that I thought was an interesting concept, but kind of mishandled. Had a lot of... It was not particularly playable. Now, this one's better than that one. This is more playable, but it's still not fully there. There are still a lot of cards, not a lot, a few cards that are not as clear as I would like them to be. And I found it to have a very interesting theme, great artwork, all of that, but the gameplay is still not where I think this series can hopefully get to. I reviewed an expansion to Imperial Settlers called We Didn't Start the Fire. This is an expansion that really kicks up the confrontation in the game. You can now steal each other's main cards. So in my tableau, I might be playing the barbarians, and I might end up with Roman buildings or Japanese buildings, right? That's cool. It's a neat concept. Again, very confrontational, though, so I think it's going to have a limited audience. And it feels more like a side adventure than more of what you enjoy and like. It's also, unfortunately, pretty much riddled with typos and mistakes and sort of awkward English in it, so I was not happy about that. I reviewed with Tom a roll and write called Ganz schon clever. This has been getting a lot of attention lately, just got nominated for the Kenner Spiel des Jahres. And this is, like I said, a roll and write, which is very clever, intricate, no pun there, by the way. It's a good one. It's one of my favorites, I think, that I've played in a while. Certainly a neat roll and write. Would definitely recommend you check it out. And then lastly, I reviewed a game called Let's Make a Bus Route. This is from Saashi and Saashi. I've really liked pretty much all of their games, and this is something new from them. It's kind of a roll and write, but you are all drawing connections, drawing lines on the same dry erase board, creating bus routes. And it's cool, it's simple, but tricky. It's a very engaging, quick, punchy game. Looks interesting. I really, really enjoyed this one. I think it's a game that's going to have a lot of wide appeal to a lot of different people. So that's it for me. Thanks for checking this out. I'll see you on the next one.
Hey folks, welcome back to another week in review. We've got 2 weeks of stuff, so hang on to your hat because here we go. Last week, I did a couple of things from CMON Expo. I did a Saturday at CMON Expo vlog. That was on Monday. It was supposed to be on the Sunday before, but I didn't get around to doing it. And then I also did an Eric Lang interview at CMON Expo. That was pretty interesting. At least I think. I know I'm biased, but I really enjoyed doing that. And then I also did two what I called second impressions videos from CMON Expo. One for Gizmos. I had already played it before, so this wasn't a first impression, it was a second impression. And then another one for Song of Ice and Fire, which I had played a couple of times before, and this one was just kind of a recap that I did with Michael Chanel. So those were all the things that came from CMON Expo. And then we also did another Throw Punch Lunch episode, which was really cool. So go check that one out as well. Then I also did a live Memoir 44, the Halha River shelling scenario from the Calc and Goal campaign for Memoir 44, me versus the internet. And then we also did a What's in There video for the Star Wars Legion Snow Troopers unit expansion box that came out. So I show you everything that comes in that box, and then I also show you how easy it is to put the models together with just a little bit of super glue. So that was 2 weeks ago. This past week, Aiden and I, my youngest son, we did a couple of reviews together. We did All Queens Chess and Robits from All Queens Chess is from Think Fun, and then Robits is from Quick Simple Fun Games. And both of those got kid approved awards from the two of us, because I think that's really the market that both of those games are going for, and they really do well in both of those things. Robits is really good, teaching different kinds of mechanisms and different kinds of thought patterns that gamers are usually kind of taking for granted. And then All Queens Chess is just a really good abstract strategy variant of chess, using the most powerful thing that you have there. I also did another review on my own for a game called Nuts. It's a new Bruno Feduti game that's from Blue Orange Games, and it's basically just a set collection game, but I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun playing it. It can get a little mean, especially if you use some of the variant cards that are in there, but not so much so that it bogs down. So I did enjoy it a lot. Check out the review for anything else. Then I also did another live Memoir 44, me versus the internet. This time it was the Down in the Dumps scenario in the Calc and Goal campaign, the 6th scenario in that 8 scenario campaign. So we're getting close. So you can go check that out. And then I also did 2 What's in There videos for the Leia Organa Commander expansion for Star Wars Legion. And then I also did another one for the Fleet Troopers unit expansion for Star Wars Legion as well. So I'm just doing those as they come in, and I don't know exactly when they are. But basically you can take a look at those and see what comes in those boxes, make a better informed decision on whether or not you're going to purchase it or not. But that's it for the last 2 weeks from me. We'll see you guys on the flip side.
Okay, so from me, first of all, we have the pretty bad Are You a Human? This is a memory match style game. Not very good, as you just turn things over. Really bad production. The name of the game is it's just a waste of time. Banquet Royal. This game looks really pretty. You have all these dishes on the table, and you're flipping over. You're placing dishes trying to match cards. It's just completely random, though, really. There's no forward planning. It's kind of a mess. And the pieces, while they look cool, fall over all the time. Conex. This is a card-laying game where you're matching corners. It's an interesting idea. It looks really cool. But essentially, the game boils down to almost Uno-esque. Just play the best card you can in a position that you can find. Cool idea, doesn't work in practice. Little Big Fish. This is a 2-player game where you're trying to eat the fish of your opponent. Sounds like a good idea, has some really cool fish, but it's mostly just kind of a boring abstract strategy game where you're just moving back and forth slowly and growing with a little bit of luck thrown in that doesn't help at all. Where's Mr. Wolf? This is a game for little kids, which is fun, where you are doing kind of a memory match, placing items and things, and you have to remember what's there. It's actually harder than you think, but because it's a cooperative game, it's a fun one for adults to play with the wee ones. Groves. This is a bag building game, or you're putting fairies into a bag and pulling them out and taking actions with them. It is an absolute gorgeous production, and there's some really clever ideas in the game, but ultimately the game is just okay for me. It's not that exciting. There's a few things you do, a few points you get, but I felt like I wanted more. Iliad. This is a game based on, Homer's book that he wrote, and we have the Trojans versus the Greeks versus the gods if you play with 3 players. But it's essentially just a match symbol game. The theme doesn't really fit at all, and it's not that intriguing of a game. It's okay. Staying on our theme of okay, we have MOA. MOA is a game where you have these mammals invading an island where you're all bird tribes fighting each other. So these mammals are colonizing your island. You can sell the land to them. You can fight them off. It sounds good, but the game is really restrictive. And as it goes on, it gets even more restrictive. And I felt like I was in a straitjacket. Jurassic Park Danger. A lot of people are going to like this. There are lots of people. This is an easy one to find. It's going to be in your stores and all that. But it does do a good job at portraying Jurassic Park, the first movie. I just wanted more from it. I didn't feel like there was a lot of strategy. It's just kind of dinosaurs versus humans. Jungle Juiced. This Jungle Joust. Juice is an alternate pronunciation. Look it up. But anyway, Jungle Joust. You are rhinos, or there's rhinos, guys on rhinos, jousting with each other. That's an amazing thing. It sounds cool, and you're betting on them. But the fact is that they run towards each other at the slowest pace imaginable. It's okay. There's some interesting ideas. I just wish it was a faster, more robust experience. Lagoonies. This is a great little kids game in which you are spinning this clicker thing and you're looking for little water spirits or whatever, but you're looking through these little pieces that kind of distort the images, which is a really neat idea. I Spy Diggin', another kids game where you're just basically rooting through a bowl, finding items as fast as you can, but there's so many, the items are what make this game. There's a lot of diverse items that also look similar. Get Lit. This is a push your luck style game where you are adding to a fuse, or you can blow up the bomb and take all the cards. It's a push your luck game. You just have to decide when to blow up a bomb. You can do it twice over the course of the game. I like it, simple and easy. Boom Bang Gold, another game with fuses. This is dynamite where you're throwing dynamite into this box and flipping tiles over and then grabbing them as fast as you can. It's a speed game with a one note unique idea, but it works and is great for kids. Bees, there's 5 E's there if you're wondering. This is another speed game where you're rolling dice as fast as you can, trying to put them on cards and claiming those cards. But then you build those, they're not cards or tiles. You build these tiles in a honeycomb thing. It works really well. Les Miserables, this is another game from the same folks who made Iliad, but this one the theme works much better. I'm not a huge fan of the artwork, but you are trying to collect different people, Javert, the Cassette, all these different people, and utilize them and accomplish their goals. I enjoyed it. Then I look at the Pursuit of Happiness community expansion. This one, more the same. If you like Pursuit of Happiness, you'll like this. It adds some community, more choices, things that you can do, help people, help your neighbor start his car, deal with a neighbor who's noisy, go to an office party, things like that. Ticket to Ride First Journey. This is the Europe version of the game. It's a great introduction to Ticket to Ride for little kids. I highly recommend it if you haven't. Mutant Crops. This is a game I was surprised I like. It's a worker placement game where you are growing crops. I don't know why they're mutants. That's just part of the theme, I guess. But it's a very small micro game. I like it. Ganz Schön Clever. Me and Z both took a look at this one. A roll and write game. This one's nominated for the Kennerspiel. There's more complication in this one than many. You're just rolling dice, but there's some unique ideas in it that I enjoyed. Laser Chess. Do I need to say anything else? It's laser chess. It's not actually. You're moving pieces around and then shooting a laser, bouncing it off mirrors, trying to hit the opponent's leader. Very fun. My First Stone Age, the card game. It's an expansion for My First Stone Age, or it's a card game on its own. Very simple memory style game, set collection, a great one for kids. And then finally, my favorite game, or actually it's an expansion, the Monsters and Minions expansions for Roll Player. Roll Player continues to get better for me, continues to grow as one of my favorite games, I think. And this expansion adds more options and more great stuff. I also did some top 10s. I did top 10 modern theme games, spy games, Viking games, story-driven games. I looked at my favorite games from Leo Calavini, Richard Garfield, Rudiger Dorn, and Mike Elliott. Lots and lots of games, lots of videos. So check all these out. Thanks for watching. I'm Tom Vasel, and this has been Week in Review on the Dice Tower.